he gave me the idea to read Reddit posts with whispers. So kind of like a story time. And yeah, I thought that was a really good idea. I want to choose stories that aren't sad, aren't too sad, and that have a wholesome or satisfying ending. I haven't read them yet. I just kind of saved a few, and I thought that we could kind of be surprised by them together. Yeah, I did kind of so on on the posts they have kind of like a mood spoiler so that you know that you won't be reading anything too distressing, which is good. So I read that, kind of spoiled myself in that, to see that it wouldn't be a sad ending, because no one wants that, unless you do want that, and if so, that's fine. So, shit that we simply cannot do. I forwarded that email to my boss, simply asking, now what? Boss was all surprised Pikachu face and said, I thought he understood. I was like, yeah, it's almost as if you have to be very firm and direct or he doesn't listen. Second edit. So another Redditor helpfully DM'd her to let her know it might help if I wasn't such an abrasive bitch. Everyone, my problems have been solved. social norms, just who needs them? Nobody needs them. Okay, anyway, continuing on. Here we are. Which is why I would appreciate some impartial, unbiased input, and I'm posting here. One of my colleagues, H, technically I am his boss, not sure if that matters, came into my office today. I have an open door policy to encourage team members to come forward and share their ideas, so this was not that unusual. H came into my office and said, "I am gay." I thought there would be. I thought there would be. It doesn't. The grammar seems wrong here. I thought there would he be saying something else. I guess I thought after that he would say something else. But no, it's just I am gay. So I waited for him to continue. After a moment, I made a sound of assent to make it clear I had heard him. He'd be like, yeah, I don't know. But he didn't say anything. Since he was staring at me, I assumed he was trying to convey something I wasn't understanding. Here's where I might have messed up. The first thing I said, my friend specifically scolded me because this was the first thing I said, was to ask if he had had any insights in marketing to that demographic. We work in a marketing firm. Yes. H said he hadn't. I asked him if he was getting married and needed time off. This too, I have been informed, was an asshole-ish response. H said he wasn't married. I finally said that if H had nothing else he wanted to discuss, he should leave, as I had a meeting starting in a few minutes and needed the office. He left. Shortly afterwards, a mutual friend scolded me and said I was a right asshole for the way I responded to H. Am I the asshole for how I responded? Okay. Where am I? If so, could you please explain A, what I did wrong, and B, what should have been the right response, and C, how can I fix this? I never really thought that I would ever post an update, but I wanted to share the good news. Nearly a year after my junior colleague H unexpectedly came out to me at work, he's become sorry. This is just rather unexpected for sure. But he's become engaged to my brother. At the advice of this forum, I had a follow-up conversation with H to ensure that he was not facing any type of harassment or discrimination, to try to understand what prompted his exclamation. It was fortunately nothing major. This person didn't write was. And as H seemed to find the conversation embarrassing. A month later, my parents finally got the courage to ask Jay, my father's assistant, about adoption. My parents had met Jay several years ago when he was huddling by the side of the road. He had aged out of foster system, but due to the lack of support, he could not get a job and was homeless. My parents had invited him to spend a shaking voice that he couldn't go through the adoption because he had been deceiving us. He was gay. Or he is gay. He wrote he was, but I mean he's still gay, right? Now, throughout all this time with my family, Jay had never dated. We all had assumed that he was just shy and uninterested, so it was heartbreaking to hear that he felt he needed to censor himself, and that he thought we would leave him if we knew the truth. It was a painful conversation, but ended happily, and the next day, Jay went with my parents to file the paperwork. At that time, my siblings and I were wondering how we could show Jay he had nothing to worry about. When I remembered H and asked him if I could share his email with Jay, I had been thinking that it would be good for Jay to have a friend who was out. I never imagined they would start dating and become engaged. And that's how the post ends. That's really heartwarming and wholesome, but it's just like, so the original poster just thought, oh, my brother is gay and he was scared to tell us. I'm so sad to hear that. Oh, I know. H, he's gay too. I should introduce them to each other. It just, okay. That's just so funny. Oh my god. Oh, we're already at 23 minutes. Okay. So, I think I'll read one more story. But maybe a shorter one. That was definitely much more entertaining than the first story, I gotta say. I'm sorry I'm not being a very good reader, cracking up at like every turn. Let's see, what's a good short situation he's